Hello, everybody. Everyone, welcome. It's so good to have you with us tonight. I'm going to encourage you tonight to get in the game, to take the tools and lessons and strategies that we've been talking about for the last 4 weeks and start putting them to work. So it's really time to get out of the stands and let's get in the game and move forward. But you know what? Everything takes money, so it's time that we talk about the actual money in the business, cash flowing it, funding it, financing it. And everyone has something different to deal with. Every situation is different. My business and yours and every one of you here with us tonight have different opportunities and challenges related to cash flow and financing and funding. And we'll try to touch base on a lot of those tonight. Yesterday afternoon from 1 to 3, I gave a presentation on pricing your products and your service and your appointment times. It went very well. We had a good crowd. Several of you had joined us here. I have a good video of that that I'll be glad to share with you when I send the report for tonight's presentation and send you the copies of the handouts and reminders. I will add a link to the video recording of yesterday's presentation. And if pricing your products, your services, and your appointment times are kind of on your mind, I think you'll get a lot from this video. And also I'll send a handout that went along with it. So let's kind of move along now. I'm Steve Carver. I'm talking to you from Dunn, North Carolina at my home office and studio now that we're doing webinars. My presentation number 993 on a journey that I welcome you to join me, and I appreciate you letting me join you as well. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a tax accountant or a CPA, but I've been in business for 63 years, learned a lot of lessons, been teaching classes to entrepreneurs for about 14 years. Maybe it's helped as many as 1,000 folks get started in business. Glad of that. It's been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done. So I'm going to give you some advice. Always the first advice is before you make a major decision about your personal business financial security, make sure you get some good second advice, some secondhand advice from someone that's been there and done that. And one of the very best places that you can get good advice is from the Small Business Center at the community college near you. We're sponsored tonight by John Hardison, the director of the Small Business Center at James Front Community College in Kenansville. And John would just really appreciate a call from you, set up an appointment, chat with you, help you any way he can. Excellent advisor. He is a CPA. He knows the business of accounting and can give you very good free advice, and it's confidential as well. So his office is over on Petty Branch Road at Warsaw, North Carolina. So if that's convenient for you, do yourself a favor and go by and make an appointment with John. Your handouts included the homework assignments for the rest of the series. They're all right there for you. They haven't changed. If you can't do them all, please do some. This is not a take it or leave it proposition, as we talk about often. I want you to do all these that you can, and I really appreciate the ones that have started sending information in. Please use the chat button. Please type in, get used to using it, because after tonight we'll have 3 more presentations in this part of the series and then 5 more later on, and it's just really good if you just get in the habit when you do sign on to use the chat button to ask questions. Let us know all this you can about yourself so we can be on the same page and share information with you. Your study guides tonight, number 993, is basically following this lesson. Then you got your drill skills and your homework. If you didn't get study guides, I tried to email them to everyone that was here last week on Wednesday night. But if you don't have them and you'd like for me to send you study guides, just over in the chat button, just type it right in there and we'll get them on the way to you. I do see we got some more new faces coming in. Brielle, welcome. Glad to have you, and Tyler. So glad to have the opportunity to serve you. And whoever is at the Clinton number ending in 528, 8888. Make sure you go to chat and let me know who this is and what your email address is as well. So I'm not going to go over everyone that's been with us, only those that have been sending in information this week. I don't want to use up too much of our time, although I love all of you and I want to talk about you. But if you're sending me information to help me promote your business, I'll be doing that. Kadra is doing a wonderful job getting her website up and running in Raleigh and offering some things. And this week she started offering a few new things at her website that we can buy from her. She's into the season with Halloween with her Hocus Pocus beverages. And also she's got a great assortment of T-shirts for homeschooling that she's offering to folks. So thank you for sharing that and good luck with those sales. Madison, thank you so much for contributing. I know that you're working hard on your business plan. It's good to have you with us tonight. And especially want to say to you, thank you for a great mission and vision statements that you sent our way, a purpose statement, and also a statement on core values. I hope that you find, as I have, that as you use these and share these with your customers, it will indeed really help you find a better feeling about your business and what you achieve. Set your standards high, and then let's try to achieve them. And you know what? Your customers will try to help you do that as well. Tierra Woodard has been with us. He's a truck driver on the road all the time, getting his home business started. He also sent us his new operating name is Lee's Boys Transport LLC out of Beulahville. Thanks for doing that, Tierra. And he also came up with his mission statement and what their specialties are and committed to. So he's making some progress, and that makes us all feel good. We all should encourage each other to move forward with these basic steps, and you'll see how everyone is trying, and we'll pull together as a team. And that's what the Academy of Associates and Entrepreneurs is all about, folks pulling together, because we are all in the same boat. I'm dealing with these same issues. Beth's still with us. Beth has sent us a video from a new video last week. She's a full-time healthcare professional moving into her own business very soon, and I'm looking forward to working for her. And I made Beth the commitment if she would redo one of her videos and send it to me, that I would ask my people to kind of rework it. Beth, did anyone get in touch with you today concerning this? Second.
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm the Honeybee Health Coach. I am a registered nurse that provides chronic disease education and health coaching to help you reach your health and lifestyle goals. Also, as a beekeeper, I find that the hive mentality of everybody pitching in and taking care of each other is really important and something that healthcare should strive for. I look forward to working as a team to help you reach your health goals. Take care.
So Beth did a great job with that raw video, changed her background around. Looks really good. And I asked her if it would be okay if we sent it to one of my associates that helps me with my videos in my company to see if we could maybe dress it up a little bit, get some new ideas in there, and just see how it looks. So I was going to ask you, Beth, did anyone get in touch with you from my office?
Yes, she did. I sent back some additional footage and photos.
Well, good. I'm excited about seeing what they come up with. These are young ladies that have got a lot of imagination. So we'll see if they got something we like. Okay. And Julia, so happy to have you staying with us. Julia's got her dog treats business up and running. She's got a great presentation website going on. It's real easy to order her products. And guess what? Otis was sitting here beside me the other day. He saw Julia's ad and he said, Papa Steve-O, how about ordering me some dog treats? So today they came in, and there's Otis. He's doing his number on Julia's dog treats. And so far, I think he's going to like them. I put a little peanut butter on one of them. They're not bad at all, no doubt. I'll have to check and see how they go along with my diet, though. But I guarantee you that Otis enjoyed Julia's dog treats because here he is chowing down on it. Patrice, way to go, girl. You keep on going on. That is so good. Patrice joined us for the person-to-person seminars at James Keenan. She's got lots of good stuff up at her website. So I want to say to you, hey, let's take a cruise. Let's call up Patrice and take a cruise. Yeah, she's out here working hard for our business, and the rest of you start working hard. Maybe all of us will get together on a cruise and have us a party down in Jamaica or somewhere. She's got all the places lined up. All we got to do is pick it out and figure out how to pay for it, and we'll go from there. So thank you, Patrice, for all your hard work, and we certainly wish you the very best of luck. I like the way that you're offering a lot of different trips at your website. Alicia was with us last week, and I hope she'll be back tonight or tomorrow. She is a professional HR person and really has done a great job making her presentations on the internet. I like her style and her looks, showing you her different ways she's approaching things to give us some good ideas. This is a great lady. Looking forward to helping her with her business as well. There's some good looking web pages there. A lot of personal information that makes it easy to identify with. Tiara, welcome. We just went through your little thing, and we wanted to say thank you for the information you sent us, including the mission statement, and look forward to getting even more from you also. So thanks for coming on board tonight. So send me information, all of you that has an interest in helping us all promote your business. This is a good way to get started, to get a feel for it, get feedback on it. The Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates are all about helping each other. We're not here to judge, we're here to help, and certainly the more you share, the more that we can do that. So if you'd like to get more information about your business, send it on to me and we'll be glad to do that. So my challenge to you tonight, it's time now that I'm going to ask you to, if you want to, come down out of the stands and stop being a spectator. A lot of you have made that move, and I really appreciate it and looking forward to seeing more from you. But come down out of the stands, stop being a spectator, get in the game, become a player at whatever speed or rate that you want to. But start getting involved if you can. And indeed, you'll find that to be in the game is the place to be. Nothing's going to happen good for you unless you make that final move. Really, first step that's easiest for everyone to get started in this is to do that introductory video, just like Beth has done. It's not hard to do, and we'll help you get started after that. But get your phone out, learn how to do a video, and send it on to me. We'll share it and start working on it with you. Tonight's subject is always on our mind, in that where can I get the money to start a business? And maybe you've already started your business, and now it's the question is, where can I get the money to stay in business, or where can I get the money to start a new profit center? All of us are at different places. At my place now, after being in business for 63 years, my challenge is how to fund a new profit center. Hopefully I've got enough reserve monies on hand to do it, but you always need to think about, before you have this great idea, and we're going to connect the dots, think about how much money it's going to start to take to get this new thing started, where it's going to come from, and is this money you're getting ready to spend coming out of your budget, is that going to hurt your overall operating plan or not? So you have to give it a lot of thought before you get into that. So we're all looking for that helping hand, and I got good news for you. I can tell you where two helping hands are. They're at the end of your own arm. That's the two helping hands that you can count on. You got some more you can count on too. You can count on me, you can count on John, you can count on our fellow associates and entrepreneurs. So the key is, I want to say to you, you're not out here by yourself, but it's up to you to put your own hands to work to pull forward. And each and every one of you have done that tonight when you logged on here. So I say congratulations. At least you're doing what you can to take it to the next level. The next thing you can do is, and I'm serious, is to reach out to those small business centers, because they have what's new in the game as far as available funds for entrepreneurs, maybe who's got the best loan opportunities. There may even be some grants I'm unaware of. It's usually really hard to get grants for for-profit businesses, but sometimes things come down the pike, especially after COVID. So make an appointment with your small business center to see what the best way to start approaching your financial issues, and they'll be glad to help you. But you know, I'm kind of more always asking someone, what can we do to play the hand we've got? Because it is like a card game, and we are in the game, but we have to play the hand we have. And it's very seldom, if anyone ever gets a royal straight flush like this one. Most of us just get mediocre hands, and we have to play with them like we did. I tell you that when my dad started our business, the business I'm working with now, he had only enough money to make it from paycheck to paycheck. It was right after World War II, and things were always tough at our house. But he was able to borrow $3,000 from my grandmother. She dug it up in a mason jar in her backyard. And Dad took his $3,000, and he had a partner with $3,000, and they started a farm equipment business. Sure did. Today, what cost $6,000 to start 63 years ago would probably cost $6 million. That's how much difference it is. So I know that it is expensive to get something started. But I also know that where there's a will, there's a way. And sometimes we don't have to make the big leap. And I'm going to do all I can to show you some ways tonight that you can helpfully find some money, improve your cash flow, generate some new money without having to go into debt. And if you do go into debt, some safeguards that you can do to protect yourself. But borrowing money today, and some of you have a plan that's going to require that, that you're going to have a pretty significant business operation to do it, and maybe some big bucks, 10, 15, 20, 50, $100,000. I don't know what it is. But I can almost guarantee you that you're not going to be able to borrow money based strictly on your new small business, because it is considered a risk, and a pretty poor risk in today's world, in today's economy, by bankers and other lenders as far as helping a new business person get started. But there are those that can get it if they meet certain qualifications. So that is, what are these special loan considerations? And it kind of boils down to, are you a promising candidate for a loan? And what are the factors that would make you promising? Number one, credit worthiness. Do you have a proven, documented credit history that you can show a lender? Well, maybe you do and maybe you don't. If you hadn't ever been in business before, and they hadn't ever started anything significant, they hadn't ever bought anything except maybe your car or your home, establishing a credit history is not easy for a young person, and I know that. So we're going to talk about some different ways that you can help with that. But the history that you do have, how does it look? Have you paid your bills on time, or you got a habit of being slow with your payments? And if so, maybe your credit score is not exactly where you want it to be. Also, when you're talking about borrowing money, how much down payment can you make? How much are you bringing to the game? You got to think about it. When we walk in and we ask the lender for money, they're going to say, well, you're asking me to put money in your business. How much are you putting into it? And that's a very valid question. And it's one that here I would say that it's important that you remember that as you do get started in your business and you make one investment after another in tools or inventory or products or pricing or studying, keep up with all your expenses that you're spending to get ready to start your business. Because indeed, when the lender asks you how much have you put into the business, what kind of down payments you've made, you'll be able to show them that list of items that you have invested. And while it may not be big bucks, every penny of down payment that you can show that you're making encourages the lender to help you with it. Lenders will also say, well, you hadn't got much down payment, but do you have some collateral? Do you have something that's worth some money that you can put up as collateral or security to secure this loan? In other words, if the loan goes south and you can't pay the money back, what else do you have that I might be able to sell to get my money back? A car or some land, a trailer, a CD in the bank. Maybe you have a loved one with an insurance policy with a cash value on it. Lots of different options here that they need to be explored, but that's the collateral part of the loan. The collateral part of the loan is tangible, and it's real, and it's always a good thing to be aware of. Another thing is maybe do you have someone to sign with you, someone that does have excellent credit, good collateral, can show they can make the payments if you don't. And that third party that comes in is called a co-signer. That sometimes we'll have family or friends that will co-sign on the loan with us to help us get started. There are a whole lot of small businesses that get started along these ways. Don't let anyone fool you. There's more of them than you can think of. Most are not going to the bank for a startup loan. Most are handling their own finances individually and privately, and we'll talk about those tonight as well. What does the borrower want to see you have before they are feeling good about loaning you money? And this what does the financer want to? And this is going to be true with an institutional lender, an angel investor, an individual family or friend member. There's some things that you need to be ready to show that you're ready to borrow some money. Do you have a wide vision of your business? Can you show me or anyone else exactly what this business is all about? Maybe what your business plan is, your profit centers. Hey, all the things we've been talking about up to now. Because they're going to want to know that you do have an idea how this is going to go and how you're going to market your business. And who are the customers going to be, and what have you done about target customers? Remember we talked about those last week? So the lender needs to be ready and the borrower needs to be prepared. So the business plan, whether you're incorporated or not, is going to be important, not necessarily to qualify you for the loan, but to qualify you to know enough about your business to make a loan. That's where the business plan comes in, and it's so important. Now, I just need to say to you, so there's no doubt, as a small business person, even me been in business a long, long time with a very good credit reputation, if I go to the bank and borrow money tomorrow, it's not going to be easy. Not because of my age, because my income is not based on a W-2 form anymore. So having a wage and a W-2 form is going to be important. But since I've got other collateral I can put up and a really good track system, I think I can pretty much borrow whatever I need to borrow. But you know what I don't have to do? I don't have to sign a personal guarantee. A personal guarantee is where I say to the lender, yes, the company is going to borrow the money, but I'm going to borrow the money as its co-signer. And if the company don't pay you, then I will. That's a personal guarantee. I have to do it after as many years as I've been in business and as much money as I've borrowed and spent. And I'll guarantee you that if you get any kind of loan related to your business, the lender is going to require you to sign a personal guarantee so that you're putting your name on the line as well as the business. That's the way it works now. Other facts the lenders will want to see is that you're always connecting the dots, that you have a history and a pattern of making the right decisions. Remember the ABCD, always be connecting the dots, that you're making the right kind of choices. You understand that there's a risk, a big risk, that the loan repayment is critical. And if you don't repay this loan, then and you have signed a personal guarantee, you have the risk of losing everything that you have. And I mean everything. House, car, this, that, money in the bank, your chainsaw, your toothbrush, because these personal guarantees sometimes are blanket guarantees that cover pretty much everything. So to mute some mics, there we go. Now, how do we get started in this? One, you're going to need to list your risk management tools. What tools do you have to address the risks that are involved in your business? Make a list of the risk, make a list of the risk management tool. You want a list of your business management skills and what you've done to prepare yourself to run a business, especially to run a business that's operating with borrowed money. And if you're weak with some skills, that's where we can come in to help you. And then there's this comprehensive marketing and business plan that we talked about in week 1 and 2. And I know that right now, all that maybe you can be doing is doing that 6-month planner. And I'd really like to see one of those from each of you. But a lender is going to want to see at least a 6-month or a 1-year or a 2-year business plan. And we can help you with that as well. Going all the way back to what we talked about in week 1 and 2. Seeing me or your small business center director, we're in the business and we can help you with that. So let's have a little fun now and just think about it. Do you need startup money? I got to ask you, have you determined how much you need? Remember last week and week before we talked about startup expenses? Well, we're right at the point right now that if you're going to get your business started in the next few months, what's that dollar figure that we need to go for, and where are we going to find it? You got enough in the piggy bank? All of us have had a piggy bank through the years along the way, but sometimes that piggy bank may not have quite enough money in it to start a business, but I don't know. Maybe you've been a great saver. Now, my Aunt Myrtle saved her money in her freezer. She always had money. If she had any extra money, it was stuck in her freezer, and we refer to it as cold cash because it was that. She would pigeonhole her money all through the year, and she'd use that cold cash to take us on a week's vacation down to Ocean Drive Beach near Myrtle Beach for a lot of years back in the 60s and 50s and 60s. And when we got ready to go to the pavilion or to get some ice cream or some refreshments, she would hand us some money. If you smell it, you could tell it came out of the freezer, so we called that the cold cash. Maybe you've got some relatives, kinfolk, friends that have got some real dough, some real money stuffed away that they would consider loaning you. Everything's on the table. Everything's on the table when you're thinking about getting your business started for your security and the future of you and your family. So just remember that. Sometimes you'll be surprised with what you can find in folks' freezers. Like my grandmother, you might have some old timers that still got money out in the backyard in mason jars. That's still alive. I still hear of it once every several months. I'll hear about someone that digs some money up. There's still some 80 and 90-year-old folks around with us that they know where the cash is because they didn't believe in putting it in the bank after the Depression. But in reality, I'm seeing so many of folks like you and I turn old stuff, old boats and trailers and different items, seeing them carrying them to the sale or putting them on Facebook and just looking around at different places and asking folks if, can I sell that for you? If I sell it, can we share the money? And you may have some kin folks and neighbors that just say, if you'll clean this mess up, you can have it and sell it, and whatever it brings is yours. You don't know unless you go ask. But I'm saying to you, there is a good market out there for people who can turn old trash into treasures and therefore create some money. A lot of these businesses don't mean that you have to go out and borrow $100,000. I mentioned this to Darlene earlier. Maybe you don't need to start out that large, but maybe you can start out selling one item, put one item in inventory and start one at a time. Remember, you make money when you sell stuff. You don't need a large inventory to get started. You need something you can sell. So turnovers become very, very important. And most of the time, you can start a profit center with $1,000 or less, maybe if it's a big ticket item with $5,000 or less, and give it a start, give it a try. And then as you start turning, you start saving your profits, reinvesting, and before you know it, you're turning several items a month, and then maybe 10 items a month, and actually you've got some real money coming in. That's the way it works, but sometimes it's just better to start small with the small items. And if you're if your business looks like if a $10,000 startup money would get you up and running, then there's a good chance I'm going to show you some ways tonight that you don't have to borrow money. Finding the ATVs, the motorcycles, coming back here in my office back here, I could have a yard sale out of my home office here in our attic and probably generate $3,000 or $4,000 in stuff. It's been around a long time, and maybe you're, of course, I'm approaching 80 years old. Maybe you got some folks in your family that's got some age, and they got so much junk, it's incredible. And you know what? They might just give it to you to help you get your business started. Or they might give you 50% of it to help you clean up their mess. So what's this is going to take? This is going to take get out of the stands, get in the game, become a player. And getting your business started may have nothing to do right now with you having something to sell today, but it may have everything to do with you being willing to start raising some money for it. Yeah, that's kind of one of the first things we have to do is get our business up and running, find things that we can sell and get it done. Now, several of you right now have already started doing some fundraisers to help raise money to promote your business. And I love this because every Friday, Saturday night, all of us are going out to dinner somewhere, spending $10 to $20 a head to feed our families, for a night out or whatever. And we're just as happy to go to a place and buy a spaghetti dinner or a chicken dinner or a fish fry dinner, or if you want to spend more money. But every budget, generally every family budget, can stand a night out. And if you're selling plate sales to help get your business started and you're promoting it that way, and you've got friends and family and neighbors that would help you get your business started, this is a great way to do it. And we've seen this done through the years. Generally, in the time of a summer or a spring and a summer, having 2 or 3 fundraisers, you can raise $2,000 to $6,000 cash after all your expenses, and be able to invest that in buying a big ticket item to resell it for $10,000 and generate $4,000 profit. Yeah, that's the way the flow would go. So it might be spaghetti dinners. This is an actual fundraiser that a friend of mine did in Windsor. These ladies got together, did a mutual fundraiser with their church. Half of the money going to help them start the business. The other half went to church programs. The church helped them sell the tickets and did a real good job. And the fundraising part for the business was over $5,000. Great afternoon event. One afternoon event, the church made $5,000 and the business made $5,000. Pretty darn good thing to do. So you don't have to be in competition with the nonprofits to have a fundraising dinner, because you can join the Boy Scout troop or the Girl Scout troop or a Sunday school class or the American Legion or some other group. Yeah, you can help them and they'll help you. It's a good way to think about it. So give that some thought. Then other people might have just a private drawing, what they call a reverse drawing, where you sell 100 or 200 tickets for $50 to $100 a piece. You have a good grand prize for the winner, and your company gets the rest of it to help get started. These kind of fundraising events are going on everywhere all the time and have been for a long, long time. I've had the honor and pleasure to help a lot of friends and families have fundraiser drives for people that had special needs because they were sick or had hospital bills, tragedy, down on their luck, whatever it was. You could usually find a fundraising drive in every neighborhood. And I developed a structure, an organization to help people do this, and I call it the Dozen Doers, the Dozen Doers. And it's laid out in your handout. It's real simple. What it is, you're going to create your first Raving Fan customers for your business by asking some people to help you get it started. And a dozen, 12 people, to be sure you can find 12 people that would have an interest in helping you. Family and friends, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, people you work with. If you don't have 12 friends, maybe you need to change your ways. But at any rate, this plan will help you do it, because what you're going to do is assign different folks different jobs in the fundraising process. Now, your ticket sales require managers, someone looking after the money, someone doing the public relations, someone getting everything together, the event place, the venue. And I've listed down to 12 different jobs that it's pretty easy to assign someone. I don't want you to be one of these folks. I want you to be floating around, meeting people. But through the process of getting organized is the most important way to make a fundraiser to be successful, is getting a lot of people involved, pretty much committed to the project. And once you start doing one of these, then you can have a silent auction, a bake sale, some special things you bring in that can really up the ante on making money. So usually when someone's doing a fundraiser like this, selling food, we go out and we find a sponsor to buy the chicken that would furnish the chickens free. We can find someone else that would furnish all the paper products, someone else that would furnish the tea, and someone else to furnish the bread. Local businesses or friends of your family will be glad to do that. If you're a good person and got a good cause and trying to get a new business started, folks will help you with the right presentations. And you can put money in the bank, $2,000 to $4,000 or $5,000 per event, until you have raised enough money to get your business started. And then even after you get started, there's nothing wrong to keep on having different fundraisers. Matter of fact, there's some businesses, that's exactly what they do as a business. Now, I mentioned family and friends a lot tonight, but I've already got another word up here that I don't feel really comfortable with. That's the word fools. We don't want to be a fool, and we don't want anyone that we love or know to be a fool, or to a fool. We're not trying to fool or trick anyone in this. So that's what that's about. But having taking money from your family and friends may be the best, may be the only way that you're going to get up and running. So just a few comments on that. Borrow only what you need. Don't try to get a lot more. Plan to pay it back quickly, but by a plan. Now, this isn't like you went up to Uncle Gene and said, Uncle Gene, can you loan me $5 to go to the bank? I mean, to go to the movie? No, this isn't that kind of loan, because he knew you weren't going to pay him back. But these loans are important because you are going to use your family and friends loaning your money to establish a ongoing long-term credit reputation that will help you qualify to borrow money from the banks and other people down the road. So this may be the only way that you can get that process started. But borrow only enough to launch your business, and plan to pay it back right by the book. Everything that you're going to do, I want you to pay them interest that's higher than what the banker is paying, because I want them to feel good that you are indeed paying the money back and they are benefiting by helping you in a business way. You don't want a free interest loan right now. If they offer it to you, that's great. You can say, I'm going to pay it back with interest, and if you decide to give me that interest money back, that'll be up to you. But I'd rather pay it with interest, because I don't be a successful business person, and I want you to appreciate that. You see, that kind of logic is what it takes to start creating a good credit reputation in the community. If you have collateral, offer the collateral just like you would have to at the bank. If you've got a car that you can offer them as security, or a computer that's paid for, a boat, anything that you've got that you can offer for collateral, do it, because that flags them, that lets them know that you're planning on paying back this money. And if you don't, you're going to be giving up some things that you know that's going to cost you money. The document that you will use is called a promissory note. And a promissory note is a promise note, a piece of paper. That is a document where you make a promise about how to pay back a loan or a debt. The promissory notes have been around a long time, since way over in Europe, right out of the Dark Ages, they started showing up. When people make a loan, they tell the folks how much you're getting, and you have an agreement on how it's to be paid back. Loan collectors have been around forever, and what they use as their basis on how much you owe someone is that document you signed to add it all spelled out. So your promissory note could be written out by hand on paper, just by two individuals. It has everything spelled out. Or indeed, it's going to say what happens if you don't pay. There'll be your default clauses there. But in your handout, I've given you a sample of a promissory note that is exactly like what you'll find at the bank today. It's exactly like what you'll find at the car dealership today, the furniture store, the jewelry store. Yep, the promissory note buying a house is a standard document. It says doctored up and amended for different situations, but it all comes back to the basics. You need a contract that names the parties involved, how much money is being borrowed, how it's going to be paid back, what the interest rates are, what the collateral is, what's being sold, where is it going to be kept, and what happens if you don't pay the loan back like you're supposed to. That's what a promissory note is. It's important that you understand this, because when you're borrowing money from a family or a friend, I want you to figure out the promissory note and fill it out. Or you make sure that someone does. But you want to understand everything that's written in it and agree to it. Because if you're not planning on fulfilling it, don't sign it. If you're not planning on fulfilling it, don't get the process started, because it will end up backfiring on you. The promissory note is also that instrument that if in your business, what you plan to do in your business is loan money to other people or sell them equipment or cars or trucks on credit. Yeah, Darlene, if y'all are going to get into selling forklifts or cars to other people on credit, then you'll be using the promissory notes to tell people how they're going to pay you back. So this will work both ways in your business. And if you decide that you had to rather just loan money or cash checks or do other things that are related to letting your money be the vehicle that helps you make other money instead of other products and services, the promissory note will be used in some way with almost every part of your business. Very important. Madison, you mentioned to me that you might be leasing some equipment to people. You'll use a document that's called a leasing agreement, but in reality, the fine print in it is all about the same thing a promissory note is. I've got some blank lease agreements I'd be glad to share with you if it's related to that. I used them for better than 40 years with all my rental company business. If we rented a tractor or a backhoe or something like that, we had a standard form that's used with everything. Yeah, I'll be glad to share that with you and with anyone else. The promissory note. Now, you can have all the pieces of paper you want, and it's got all the fine writing on them you want, but indeed, if you want to make them legal, there's a few things you have to do. The document itself is called a legal document, even if it's just two people sign it. But there are some things that you need to know to make it more legal. And this is technical, but each one of you need to kind of zero in on this because it is so important. When you're signing a loan document, in other words, when you're borrowing money, or when you're lending money to someone else or selling them something on credit, the document, that piece of paper, is just that. Until you start getting a few things done that then bring legality to it. So what are the things that we need to do that makes it more legal? Number one, getting a witness to sign it. A witness is a third party that witnesses your signature and my signature, and they witness down here that they saw us sign it and they know who we are. That show us is we can show it to someone else and say, now this is legal because we got it witnessed. Well, that's kind of the real thin ice on legality, a witness, because someone could have something witnessed later on that when both parties weren't there, get a signature on it, another will not know about it. But now let's talk about what is a legal witness. A legal witness is called a notary public. Notary public. A notary public is a funny name for someone that is an extension of the clerk of court's office. In other words, the notary public, when they sign it, they're going to put a seal on it with the great state of North Carolina because they're an officer of the court. And that seal and their signature steps it up to a more legal document. Because the notary public is saying, I know these two people, I know their identity. I might not know them individually well, but they've proven to me with a copy of their license, which I verified the signature to satisfy myself, that they're not forging somebody's name on here. And I looked at the other one, and they've proven to me that that's who they are. The notary public and the witness before them, they're not saying that they understand anything in the document. They don't read the document. They're not up to how much interest and how much money is going to be loaned and back and forth. They don't even ask the two parties if they have read what they're signing. They don't have to. However, most notary publics should look at them right in the eye and say, have you read this document and you understand what it says? And then if they ever have to go to court to back up and justify their signatures, they would be able to say with all truthfulness, look, I don't know what it said in that document, but both of these parties told me that they had read it and they understand it and they didn't have any questions with each other. That's just good business. So remember that. Also, it's kind of my way of saying to you, take time to read your documents. Yeah, and if you're not used to reading them, carry that document to someone and let it read it for you that's used to looking these documents over. Because the people that write the documents, my friends, Tyler and Tisha, Beth, the people that write the documents, of course, write them to cover their butts first and yours second. So read the documents. Can you ask that something be amended or struck out and changed? You bet you can. Yes, indeed. And I want you to do that. And lots of times that won't do your deal, or sometimes it might. But maybe if those changes aren't made, the deal's not good for you, and you need to move away from it. Try real hard not to put yourself in a situation where you feel like you're under pressure to sign this thing. You just got to do it, or the world's going to come to an end. Try not to put yourself in that situation. Always try to be in a position that when you're looking at this document, you can say, this is good for my business. I remember Papa Steve said, A, B, C, D. Let's make sure that we're signing this document and it makes sense for my business. And if you don't have a good feeling about it, then pull away. Pull away, sleep on it, pray on it. Let Jesus take a look at it with you. He'll look at it better than I will for sure. But seriously, take the time to be careful. Don't feel like you're being pressured into signing documents. Oftentimes, if that's the case, it's not a good deal. Okay? Okay, we got it notarized, but I want to tell you that notarizing makes it more legal, but it doesn't give you the protection that you really need as a business person with a serious loan. So after it's notarized, you can take this document to the clerk of court in the county where you're doing this business, to the register of deeds at the courthouse, and ask them to make this a matter of a public record. Or otherwise, you're going to take it to them and have it made public, a public document. The clerk of court will put a stamp on it, the date that this was entered, and when that enters the books, then it has priority over any documents that come after it does. Because liens that are put on different property are always have the lien that's filed first is the one that's got the most power. For example, someone has sold you a car, and as you paid $1,000 for it, and you signed a lien for $1,000, and you paid it off. Well, you went up to the courthouse to find out why you hadn't gotten your title, and you find out there's 3 more liens on that same car for $1,000. In other words, there's still $3,000 owing on it, even though you paid off your $1,000 debt. Do you get the title? Is it your car now? No. Because the people at the front, in front of you that had filed their liens first, they can get their titles if they pay off their part of the debt, but you can't. So it's really important that you check with the Register of Deeds office on, has someone else borrowed money or sold this property I'm getting ready to buy? That is a big deal with automobiles and trailers and anything that's got a title on it. You'll always need to learn how to check and make sure that someone else don't have a lien outstanding on this property, or otherwise you may be buying stolen merchandise, and if you do, you know what you get out of it? You get away from the sheriff when he comes and picks it up if they find it, because it was stolen and you purchased it. So buying and selling merchandise, yeah, fair market value is important, but making sure that there's no debts or liens on it is important too. When you're selling products, it's against the law for you to sell something that's financed somewhere else. Yeah, you're supposed to pay off any loans on anything before you sell it to someone else. So buying and selling stuff is important. And you talk about something that'll mess up a funding plan, chew up a bank account in a hurry, those kind of mistakes can hurt you a lot. So if your business is buying and selling items, fairly large ticket items, that there's a good chance that people have borrowed money on or sold them to other people before it came along to you, you got to be careful and understand the ropes on that. I'll be glad to try to spend any special attention with you for special types of business that maybe you're doing. Now, let's talk about something I want you to be worried about. We're talking about borrowing money now and getting started in business. And maybe part of what your plan is that your boyfriend or your husband or your mama or your cousin or your friend will get into business with you. And they're going to furnish half the money and you're going to furnish half the money. Or 2 or 3 people don't put in a group of money and get started. The big caution here is just because someone has invested money in a business does not make them a partner. It makes them an investor. And please remember, there's a big difference in the 2 words. A partner is someone that's invested in the business. They're going to work in it. They're going to take the same chances you do. If the business makes money, fine. If it loses money, they'll lose money just like you do. But an investor, they got another game. The investors invested money in that business to get paid back with interest on certain dates. Hence, the promissory note becomes important. The investor does not own the business. No, they own that document. And the business, if it gave them collateral, they may own part of the collateral of the business. But the investor isn't automatically someone that makes the rules like the owner of the business does or the stockholders. 2 different groups, stockholders, investors. Investors, promissory notes, getting paid back. That's what they got coming. Now, who is it that maybe you'll find loan money from? Well, in your local banks, it's your community-based banks. In Dunn, North Carolina, that'd be like First Federal Savings and Loan. In Clinton Savings and Loan, or maybe some locally owned banks. That is, people in the community own this bank. And most North Carolina counties have at least 1 bank in it that's a locally owned bank. And then you got your little bit larger banks that's kind of state-oriented, like First Citizens Bank would be a good example. And then you got your banks that are over 3 or 4 states, Truist, something like that. Branch Bank, as they used to be called. Anisha, you have a question? I guess not. Okay. Mute your mic there. And then you got your really large banks that are nationwide, like Wells Fargo, we'll say. Now, each one of these banks, every kind of bank, prides itself in saying, we really help small businesses. We're all about promoting entrepreneurship. So what they're calling small businesses, indeed, may be a business with 500 employees doing $10 million worth a year. Nowhere close to what my small business is or your small business, right? So just because it says they're into helping small businesses doesn't mean they're into helping folks like us. However, they may be. And so I would suggest that you look at the most active banks in your community and see if they have a entrepreneurial small business loan program. Because every bank could be doing this and has something really good to offer for you, or will make exceptions on all the reasons I've been talking about. They won't loan you money. They may have a drive on to help a few businesses get started. And indeed, you may come in and catch a lucky day. So question number one, check the bank out and see if they have small business entrepreneur programs. And if they do, make a phone call and find out what's about it. All right? Now, credit unions, most of us that have second and third jobs, some of us are working for the North Carolina state as a teacher or healthcare person or law enforcement officer, belong to the state employees credit unions or the Marine credit union, the Coast Guard credit union, so many of them around. Here's a word of caution to you. Through the years, I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs get their businesses started, and they use the money that they got from their local credit union. But here's what we find out. Credit unions, by their charter, are not supposed to make business loans. Listen to me again. Credit unions, by their charter, are not supposed to make business loans. So if you go into the credit union talking to the loan officer and the first thing you say is, I need to borrow money to get my new business started, they're going to turn you down. They have to by law. If, however, you walk in there and say, I need to borrow some money on my house, I've got some projects I want to do, use my house for collateral or my car or my savings account, I just need to borrow some money. You don't have to tell them that you're getting ready to invest in a small business. You don't have to tell them that because you're not using the small business as the basis for your loan. It's just that you have some special projects that you're working on, you're trying to go for it. And if you've got the money in the bank or you got good credit with them, you'll get a green light and can move on. And the credit unions are good people to do business with. You just need to make sure you understand they've got limitations, and I'm making you aware of that. Some other government agencies might be ready to help you. That might be the SBA, the Small Business Association. They indeed have been working hard, especially during COVID, with a lot of business loans, but they've mainly been for businesses that have been up and running for at least 2 years or longer. If your business isn't over 2 years long, SBA doesn't have any really good news for you. So what's next? Private organizations, and there are a few. That's the ones that I would mention that your small business center might know about. Every community, not every community, but a lot of communities have what they call their Committee of 100s that are set up to help people get started in business. In Harnett County in Dunn, North Carolina, we have a Committee of 100 with many millions of dollars available to help folks like you and me get our new businesses started. But indeed, we're going to have to show to them what our luck has been in getting loans from other people. And indeed, if you've been turned down by the banks, but you still got a viable business in front of you, they may be in a position to help. I will say to you that they're going to want to see some collateral, and they're going to want to see some good credit history. But they're not going to say no because you're a new small business, like a lot of other people might. And then we got angel investors, which we'll spend some time talking about them. What are angel investors? They're individuals in the community that has old money, deep pockets, got some substantial savings, and indeed those people will generally have those savings in a bank. So how can you find the angel investors? It's kind of simple now. You look at who the board of directors are in the local banks. And you can find those at the bank's website. You find out who the directors of the banks are. How do you get to be a bank director? You put a lot of money in the bank. It's just that simple. And as a director, you get to sit in on watching the bank make loans. Maybe be on the loan committee or overlook it. And therefore, when folks come in to borrow money, the directors may have a first shot at understanding about what's coming up. Now, that's a two-edged sword that I need to share with you, because sometimes in your business plan, you don't want to give away really important kind of private secret information, because other people are going to look at it who may steal your ideas and beat you to the punch. You don't hear of that happening a lot, but it has happened before, and it could happen again. You may have someone understand that you're getting ready to lease or buy a piece of property. And because they've got inside information on it, they go out and buy it out from under you. That's the negative part. It's the realistic part. So you have to be careful with what you include in your business plans. But more likely, they will notice that, hey, here's a pretty good plan, and these people wanting to borrow some money. Maybe I can loan them my money instead of the bank loaning the bank money. And I will make the interest instead of the bank making the interest. And folks with money in the bank are not making much interest these days. So someone that is prepared to pay an angel investor a good interest rate, and they got a good business plan and understanding of their business, they may have a better chance of getting money from angel investors than they do from the lending institution itself. But you got to be careful here, because angel investors are good people. They're smart people. Well, I don't know that they're good people, but they're smart people because they've ended up with this money. But the devil is always in the details, because angel investors sometimes will want a piece of the action, a part of your business, if they loan you money. In other words, they want more than just getting the money paid back to them. They want a piece of the action. Well, is that all bad? It could be, but if you don't have any collateral to offer, then that becomes collateral as a percentage of the stock in your business. And indeed, that may be something that is negotiable. The devil is always in the details. So in doing business with an angel investor, you want to make sure that you understand that promissory note. Maybe you take it to a lawyer who has a good idea about how this works, or a CPA. Or if you don't want to spend that money, at least take it to someone who can read it and kind of look for problem areas and advise you whether you do need to go to the lawyer or not. But angel investors, for the most part, are very good. But watch the TV show Shark Tank. You ever watch that, Shark Tank on TV? One of the cable channels has it every night. Those people are professional investors, and they will almost always make someone a loan, but part of that loan package is, I want to own a percentage of the business. Okay? Sometimes that's a real good thing. If they got good money and can keep funding your business for a while, that might be exactly what you need. As we said before, investors are not partners. Partners are taking the risk. They lose their stuff, may not get it back. Investors are going to have that documents and collateral to pretty much assure themselves they're going to get their money back. The key now is to talk about the number 51%. Because if you own less than 51% of your business, then you're not in control. 51 is really important. Let's say that you've got 3 friends that you don't bring into the business with you. One's going to give you $2,000, and you're going to give them 20% ownership of the business. Another's going to give you another $2,000. You're going to give them 20%. Another's going to give you $2,000. You're going to give them 20%. So you've taken in $6,000, and you've given away 3 times 20, 60% of the stock. You're going to put in $4,000, and you're going to have 40% of the stock. So you've got twice as much money in the game as any one of them do, and you got twice as much stock as any one of them do. So you ought to be in pretty good position, right? No. Please understand the answer is no. Because the three of them who have only half as much money in the game as you do can get together, agree to vote you out, and fire you on the spot. They can fire you on the spot, and they don't have to pay you your money back. They get to keep your $4,000. Now, it can get real tricky in all this, and all lawyers and legals, but the fundamental thing here is, if you don't maintain 51% ownership, you can get outvoted because the three of them together have 60%, and you only had 40. One day you could come to work and your desk to be empty, and they just tell you you've been fired. We're going to run the business without you, and every year when we close the books, we'll show you what we made, and if we decide to pay a dividend, we'll pay you some money. How about that? So how do you protect yourself in situations like that? You were just looking for some investors to help you get started, right? The promissory note and an understanding of how it works. 51%, you got to have it. Now let me just go back here. So sometimes in my seminar classes, I have people come into them, a husband and a wife, or a brother and sister at the back of the room, or two friends for life back there. And I have that conversation, and I can see them start looking at each other like, hey, we didn't think about this. Because a 50-50 deal, that is, everybody's equal, even Steven, 50% or no way at all, they're always going to go south. There will always go south. It may last for years, but at some point, someone will pass away and an heir will come in, or there'll be an argument or a problem or an in-law or divorce. So 50-50 deals can always end up being in trouble. But sometimes that's just the way it has to be, because the two partners, that's the only way they'll go forward. So I need to tell you, there's 2 or 3 things you can do to protect yourself and protect your business in a 50-50 situation. Number 1 is both partners, both folks agree and sign off that you agree that you will not make the other one an offer for his share or her share if you're not willing to take that same offer for your share. Do not make me an offer you're not willing to take. Yeah, now what does that do? That keeps one partner from taking advantage of the other partner who may be going through a rough patch. Maybe one can see that their partner really needs some cash right now, and this is a good opportunity for me to pretty much steal it from them for a little bit of money. Yeah, I don't care that they put $10,000 in it. Right now, they'll take $3,000 to take care of their emergency. That's rough. That stinks, but it's real, and it happens all the time. But the way you can protect both partners to begin with is don't make me an offer that you're not willing to take yourself. Because if I'm really down on my luck and you come and offer me an offer for my stock for $2,000, and I know that my stock and your stock together is worth $20,000, then I don't find $2,000 and pay you out and buy you out right now. I'll go find me another partner to help me, even though I am down in luck, but it gives me that opportunity. Next rule is, I will not sell any of my stock without offering it to you first. I will not sell any of my stock without offering it to you first at the price that someone's offering to me. What does that do for you? That keeps one partner from selling their stock in the business to someone that maybe you don't like. I mean, you really dislike. It keeps them from bringing in a brother-in-law or a son-in-law that's not good, in your opinion. As long as everybody's got equal chances to buy and to sell, the partners, things will work out pretty good. So remember those 2 rules if you're in a 50-50 situation. Hey, Crystal, glad to see you on board with us tonight. Just noticed that you're here. And Tisha, good to have you on board as well. All right, here's some good news. I mean, some really good news. Madison and Tierra, you guys are going to be buying some big ticket items. Possibly Darlene, it might be the same for you. A lot of times when you're going to go buy some big ticket items, the vendor that you're buying it from, the dealer that you're buying it from, may offer in-house financing. Yeah, you know, when you go down to Best Buy to get you a new computer outfit, and you don't spend right much money, and if you buy a Dell system, indeed Dell will finance it for you. So there's a lot of times that even if you got a home-based office and your investment is all about electronic equipment, you don't have to go to the bank and jump through all these hoops to get your funding for it. Many times, the people you're buying it from will have in-house financing. And let me tell you, oftentimes it's at very, very good and favorable rates and terms and conditions. Car dealerships, tractor dealerships, truck dealerships, forklift dealerships, electronics. Oftentimes you can get what you need and have it financed where you're getting it, and that frees you up with your lending institutions or your angel investors to use the money that they have to offer to you for your operating expenses or your marketing investment maybe. So it's not always a bad situation when you're buying that your capital equipment, because if the tractor dealership is offering you financing, that probably means they're offering you warranty and will back it up for you and will sell you parts when you need it. A lot of advantages in dealing with established dealerships and businesses that have their own financial departments. I'm always going to say to you, let's check them out. Let's get a second and third opinion just to make sure you're on safe ground. But that's the good news here. Sometimes I'll have people come to me wanting to start a business and I just have no idea how they're going to do it. Now, especially back when I was selling new tractors, loaders, forklifts, Skytrax, and things like that. And they asked me how it was and said they were getting ready to go to the bank and see if they could borrow the money. And I said, well, how about let me look at your financial situation and finance it for you? Sometimes that was the best part of my business. Oftentimes I made more money on financing than I did on selling the equipment. So just keep that in mind. Madison, I'll mention to you again here that owning your own leasing company will be a major, major way to help you have a second profit center on the leasing side of what you're thinking about doing as you're actually doing on the selling side, getting started. Be glad to talk to you about that as well. Okay, funding by vendors is very, very important. How can I make some money now, even though I hadn't got started? One way is what I like to call pre-sales, and this only applies to certain kinds of businesses where maybe you have a product that you can say to a good customer, good potential customer, if you'll go ahead and buy it now and pay me, I'll deliver it next year, I'll deliver it in a few months, or I'll do this or that at a really good price. In other words, you can save a lot of money by paying me now and waiting for delivery later. Now, first of all, you have to be trustworthy. You have to believe and know that you got to be trustworthy to work with a potential customer this way, because it's all about trust. But it's good for everybody when you can work it. I get paid now, so I get to use that money. I get to buy that product they're getting ready to, I'm going to sell to them. And because I'm buying it early and I'm paying cash for it, I'm going to get a very good price and be able to make more money on the sale, actually. I don't pass on some of that savings to my customer. But I don't have it in early, so I can sell these and show them to other people along the way as long as I can cover my ground. Indeed, you get your profit up front that way. But you've got to be a man of your word, a woman of your word, and make sure you make delivery when you're supposed to. Now, the other end, the customers love this, because let's say that I was selling someone 10 lawnmowers that was in the lawn mowing business, $100,000 deal. Indeed, the question to them was, on what date do you want these lawnmowers delivered to you ready to go to work? And they could tell me that in September or November, because they know that on April 15th, that's when their mowing contract started. Well, I would have everything serviced and ready and fueled and ready and on the truck and at the site delivering it on April 15th for them. Now, customers love that. And I was going to be able to look really good and fulfill that because I've had months to get ready to do it. It's just good business to do all the pre-sales that you can and to find different types of businesses that works for you. That might be if you're baking products, if you're selling baked goods. It might be if you have a contract to deliver X number of used pickup trucks to a farmer or a contractor. Pre-sales is a good thing. Now, after we're open up in our business, we're going to talk about cash flowing now. Because even though you got it up and running good, the cash flow is going to start, and it flows. It's like a river, and sometimes it's like a tsunami. Sometimes it's flowing in, and sometimes it's flowing out, and sometimes it's doing it so fast, it gets very confusing. But what is positive cash flow? More money coming in than it's going out. Negative cash flow, more money going out than it's coming in. You have to watch it all the time. If you're in a negative cash flow situation and you're forecasting it and you're seeing it happen, you got to do something. You cannot just stand there in the road and watch the truck come at you. What can you do? One, add profit centers. Add marketable profit centers. Grow your business. Don't tighten it up. Grow your business so you're creating more cash flow. And then fight the crisis before they become into wildfires. Fight the crisis while they're small with good priorities. You fix things while there are small problems and don't let them grow into a big problem. Let's talk about some honest paths to bring some cash in. One, in your business, eliminate bottlenecks. A good example of a bottleneck, Brielle, is when you have you're doing business with folks, but you're slow about sending your invoices out. You're slow about getting paid. You got to fix that. You can't pretend to be a banker in today's world. With credit cards out there, people are able to pay you instantly, and you need to do that. Get your business lined up so that you can invoice people as soon as possible and get paid as soon as possible. Don't waste time collecting your accounts. If you got past due accounts out there, people using your money, that's bad. And it can get real bad in a lot of businesses. And you must have the risk management things in place to fix that. There's a lot of different things to do. I've got a study guide that approaches how to collect and avoid past due accounts. I'll be glad to share that with you. But you've got to plug those holes. Otherwise, your cash flow will be gone. If you got waste, you have to surgically eliminate it. Now, all of us have got some waste. I'm looking at my desk right here with a lot of papers laying on top of it that's been stacking up for 2 weeks. Every one of these pieces of paper, there's something on there that signal me there's a way I can save some money or do something more economically. And I don't have to put aside a day just to organize them and start working on them. So I'm procrastinating on it now, but at least I'm going to make a stab at it. So that's on my to-do list. So your to-do list, if you see a way you can eliminate waste, do that. Stretch your dollars, cut the costs when you can, and remember now the Magic Act. What is the Magic Act? That's turning that old stuff into new money. Old merchandise that's laying around that you can't turn is costing you money, and I suggest even if you lose money on it, to liquidate it, take that new cash, put it in the bank, and be ready to take advantage of a good deal comes along, or invest it in something that you can start turning and making cash with. Old investments that are old and not making money is a bad thing. Upsells, when you're adding profit centers, what can you add that you can link in and have upsells automatically in your business? That's the creative side of you. And things are kind of weak, things are kind of slow. I need to jumpstart what it is. You know who's going to help you jumpstart your business? Look back at your Raving Fan customers. Hopefully you've got a database and you can reach out to them very easily. And you figure out what you can do to energize them, to get them selling or buying or out here working for you. Your Raving Fan customers will do this for you. I've seen so many people that were in a slump, and after we had this conversation, they used those old established customers with something special and saw an instant jump start in their sales and in their cash flow. So it's real. Raving Fan customers can do that for you. Use your credit lines. Now, what is a credit line? That is an established credit line like a credit card. If you've got a credit card, you've got a credit limit on it. If you've got a credit line, you've got a credit limit on it. That means what have you got that if you need some instant money, some instant cash, how can you get it? Because I want you to have that to take advantage of good deals that come along. Credit lines can be very important to you, especially if you're buying and selling. You want to buy under fair market value, and you have opportunity to buy some stuff that you can turn and make money in a hurry with it. That's the time that you do want to borrow money. That's the time you do want to lose your credit lines. Use your credit lines, not lose them. Now, working with the local banks, establishing a banking relationship is an important thing to do for every entrepreneur. I'd like for you to have 2 banks that you do business with, and I'd like that when you walk into that bank, somebody back in the offices recognizes you and know you. A relationship there with you as the new business people doing business with them as the bank. Maybe it's a small account, but create some personal relationships, because like in so many things, and banking and loaning money is no exception. You've heard these words before. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So do you know someone at the bank? Are you creating a relationship there that maybe one day they can help you move forward with a loan or a situation that's troubling you? Tips. Do not pay off long-term debt with short-term cash flow. Just because you've created some money in your checking account doesn't mean you need to liquidate it down and pay off loans that are in good shape and that don't have to be paid off. Pay your loans off as you planned, as long as they're making money for you. Try to keep a reserve in cash. Make payments in advance when you can to stay away from stress. Make payments as you can to stay away from stress. That is to say, if you get a payment that's due and you can't make the whole payment, make the payment that as much of it as you can before the due date, and let the debtor know that when you're going to pay the rest of it. It's okay to get behind from time to time, as long as the person you owe money to knows that you're on top of it. All of us through the years will have some times that it's a little bit slow. The key is not letting that time cost you a vendor or a lender or someone that really wants to work with you. As long as you're talking with folks and you're not running from them and you're not letting your debt get too old and you're not avoiding finance charges, they'll work with you. But yeah, they'll understand you might be in a tight, but they won't understand if you don't play by the rules of the game that you signed in that promissory note, which is you will pay the late charges. You will pay it off as soon as you can, and there won't be no hassle about it. And then you know what? They will be glad to help you next time you need some money. But if you renege on some of those parts of the contract, you're not going to have a chance to go back. I want your financial statement and your bank account level to look like this. I want that arrow to be going up. What we don't want to see is our debt going up like that. What we don't want to see is our past due accounts going up like that. But if our debt load is going up like that and our asset is going up equally or more, in other words, if we're borrowing money and investing in items that's helping us make more money and we can prove it, then I have to say there is a time that we need to borrow money. Because if we wait till we get enough cash to do everything, we won't ever be able to get in business. So the key is borrowing the money to make money and to stay with it. So COVID's hanging around. I hate it, but it's still hanging around. We all know it. We're hearing about it every day. So talking about COVID, let's talk about what we've learned and how it relates to cash flow. A lot of companies went out of business. But a lot of companies have had the best years they've ever had. I can tell you on the internet side of my business, it has almost doubled in the last 2 years because more people started shopping on the internet. And it makes me real excited to share that with you because I want you to have the internet component in your business because that's where the market is right now. But you're not going to enjoy a good internet business if you can't offer them lots of marketable profit centers. So what can you be doing on the internet to help you make money? Maybe you've got a hobby that you've been thinking about turning into a business. Maybe that's something new you can do without having to spend a lot of money. A lot of folks are doing it. I've got, of all the folks in the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates, there's a good 25 or 30 that basically the businesses that they're enjoying right now, from candle making to looking after animals, to dealing with cars and trucks and other crafts, gardening, cooking, baking. All these things started as a hobby. And I've got a handout and a study guide, how to turn your hobby into a business. Glad to do it. I've also got one that's 50 businesses that you can start with $100 or less. I'll be glad to share that with you. But hobbies with pets are very popular. People can take chainsaws and make all different types of things with it. This fellow's over in Seven Springs, North Carolina. Maybe you like to cook. Maybe you don't cook and use your own private labels. Lots of people are making lots of money with private labels, but you know the rest of the story? Lots of people that can't cook at all, that don't have the time or the energy or wherewithal to do a lot of cooking, are selling private label foods with their labels on them. I've done it for years. It's a good thing to do. It's a fun thing to do. Very profitable type of business. I'd be glad to send you some tips on that. Maybe you love to exercise. Maybe you're into fitness. Maybe giving classes can help you. This is Angie over in Roanoke Rapids. She's got a good business started with fitness and also yoga exercises. Her and her friend they are doing a great job with healthy food diets and talking with people about in lessons and classes about eating better. Having monthly promotions, keeping fresh bait in the water is an excellent way to jumpstart your business and your cash flow. If you haven't been doing this, you'll be amazed by taking the tips that we talked about in week 3 and 4 and putting them to work and start getting those promotions out there to see things happening. That's why I want you all to start sending your information about what you're doing in your business in here, because we will help to show you how to get some items that you can call promotions to use here, and then start using them on Facebook or at your website or send out mailers. This opportunity is real for you to start learning how to get promotions out. Well, let's see why I'm stuck. There we go. Targeted customer groups. Did you make your list after last week? Remember, that's what we're going to do. Method, media, guerrilla marketing for each target group. And I expect you all to have 5 or 6 of each one, okay? The right customers, targeting right customers with your marketing effort will help keep you from wasting your money trying to be everything to all people. Instead of trying to all things to all people, we can't do, but we can be everything to some people if we target the right customer groups. Have you learned, by the way, because that's going to make us more cash flow than anything else, because by the way helps you stack profits. In other words, using by the way and upsells you'll sell more stuff to the same customers that are coming in. It is a huge factor for you. Maybe you need to think about going mobile some way. Is your business going to be stuck in one place? And giving some thought to how we can take it mobile might make a lot of difference in the cash flow that you can generate. Sometimes going mobile can be expensive. Let's take an example of a food truck. If you've got a food truck that goes 2 or 3 places a day, there's an excellent chance they're not going to be very profitable because they spend a lot of time and money moving. But if you've got a food truck that goes to a place and sets up and is able to stay there for a whole week and enjoy repeat business every day, going mobile was a good thing for them. However, they didn't go mobile every day. So let's figure out how that fits into what you're thinking about doing in your business. Bringing it home now. Rehearsing. Let's stop being that spectator. Let's become a player and get in the game. Are you ready to get in the game? To become a force, a player. Now, you don't have to do it in a big way, but at least start making the moves. How can you make the moves? Is do the homework assignments. Just the fact that you're doing them will help motivate you to move start as you go ahead. Fight the distractions. Think about the selling opportunities that you have, especially upselling. Think about the standards that you're setting. Do that mission, vision, and promise statement. Thank you so much for all of you who are doing that. I hope that you're seeing, as I do, how important that is to how you feel and how you feel about your business. Let's remember that we want to be the best person we can be. To always remember that we've got a responsibility, of course, to our legacy, to our family, to what we want to be remembered as. And as we're being the best person we can be, people will recognize that. They will want to do business with you, and they'll keep coming back. So believe and trust in yourself. Isn't this wonderful? Let me tell you that next week, we're going to be talking about bookkeeping, record keeping, learning about depreciation, and also negotiating and forecasting. Really important skills for every small business owner to have. So I can't wait to see you on that. And then also I'll mention to you that I would love to send you the film that we did last night, the recording, so that you can get into pricing. I went into pricing deeply, and you may have some questions about that. Later on in the series, on one of our Tuesday night classes later on down the road in about 4 weeks, we'll do that one again. But I'd love for you to watch that video from yesterday's presentation. Thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you next week, and hope you have a great weekend, a lot of fun, and God bless you and your family. So I invite you to turn your videos on and your microphones on. If you have any comments, we'd love to hear from you. Denisha, it was good to have you back tonight. Good to see you. Tiara, how's things with you? Are you on the road?
Yeah, I'm on the road. I'm in Tennessee on the way back to North Carolina.
All right. Have you had a good week?
Yeah, I just left out yesterday. Now I'm going to be rolling again.
Very good. Well, we appreciate you staying with us, and I do appreciate you doing those that mission statement, sending it in. That was good work.
Thank you.
All right. Catherine, it's good to see you tonight. I hope things are going well for you.
Yes, thank you so much, Steve. I'm hanging in there. Trying to get some of this homework done that you put out there. I'm trying to work on it in my spare time.
Well, make it a fun thing. I'm not trying to work you to death because I know you're a busy, busy lady, and I'll help you all I can, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. You take care of yourself.
You too as well.
All right. Tisha, how are things going with you? Uh-oh, no audio. Okay, excuse me there. And Denisha, good to see you again tonight. I hope you're getting along well.
Oops. Hello, can you hear me well?
I do hear you well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm working on my mission statements, and I want to send you the links to my Facebook as well as my website and a couple of different social medias that I have I've gotten up and running.
Good for you. All right. You know, we got to go through those steps so people can find us and do business.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I hope it goes well, and I'll look forward to seeing that information, and also look forward to sending you some pretty certificates in a few weeks.
Well, I'm looking forward to it also, but I'll definitely have those items to you this week, that email.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. I hope all of you have a great weekend. Look forward to working for you, and we'll stay in touch. Send me all the information that you'd like, and we'll end up having a better business. God bless you and take care.